So today we'll be looking at what to do whenever we are given a research question. So let's assume that our supervisor has accepted a topic for us to go and write as our thesis, maybe undergraduate, beyond on the postgraduate student and all. But I must tell you, you must do this first. Most of us do mistake by doing the other by writing chapter one, chapter two, chapter and all. But there's one thing we need to do first is let me show you what we have to do. That's the first thing. Look at this. Let me share what my screen is. So you can see because we all make mistake. Myself before I become a professional in writing projects, I also committed some of the mistakes. Because one of the things we have to do is making sure that you check your data set. It matters a lot. So now this is it. First of it is that what needs to do here is writing. Like I said, I just name is writing research writing 101. Now I've labeled what we have to do here so that we can see. So the first thing we have to do. So they said what to do after giving a research or after, like I said earlier, you check previous variable and write out the relevant variable. That means you check previous variables from past literatures, like all those literatures that have been written. You check them, you see what people have used before. So and you narrow it down to what you are expecting or aiming to have in a project. So now when you have all those things, then you now need to get the data. Since you're okay, I'm looking at the impact of exports performance on GDP or economic growth in Nigeria. So I'm saying that I'm trying to check the impact of export performance, that is export value on what? On GDP and others. So all of these has to go through that. So people have written about what you're about to write. It's just that you are just trying to adjust what the person have written. So that's why you have to check previous variable that have been used. They write out your own relevant variables. They can also look at after that, you now need to get the data from the reliable source. To get the variable for you have to get the data from reliable source. Like you look at it and say, okay, from World Bank Development Indicator, from IMF, from CBN Bulletin, MBS, from Microtrend, from Statistical, from Yahoo Finance. You can just mention them from Nigeria Stock Exchange, WHO, and all. So when you get your data set ready, you have compiled them, you have adjusted to a perfect data set looking. Then I check. You need to check all of this. You know why? If when you are checking all of this, you need to know that okay, with this, once you do this, you don't need to interpret them by mere looking at your result. You know that okay, this is happening in my own data set. So you already know that okay. So now when you look at it now, you check your similarity test, you look at the serial correlation. Is your error having a conflicting relationship? You have checked your variances. Is there any variable that is so large that can cause a lot of that can make your submission or your recommendation not valid? You check your specification error. You check is it specification correct? Is it okay? Is it giving me what I need? So this has to help you guide that. You check your normality, pardon. So you look at them. You check the multicollinearity. And you want to check that you look at statistical significance of your variables. or your independent variables. That means you are trying to check if they are actually properly explaining your dependent variable, your outcome variable. So that's word test. Uh, you can use your EViews, your SPSS, your how programming, your Python, and all that thing. So once all of these are certified condition, that is, all of these, you check them. You know, you might be checking your specification area. You find out that there's something wrong with your model specification. You can just say, okay, let me log. That's ready. Their suggestion. You are now looking at, okay, let me log this, let me do this. You check your model code now. You find out that there's one variable that is giving you one extreme value of centered VIF. So all of these, you have already solved the problem ahead of time. So with this, you can easily just write your objective and hypothesis because you have already seen your result and what you are using. ALDL, is it ALDL I'm using? Is it OLS? Is it VL? So you have already know what you are about to use. So when you are writing objective, this project the main project is to check is to investigate the impact of export performance on the Nigerian economy or on the GDP, so which is the economy. So you look at it that okay, it's also to check to strategically investigate the impact of foreign direct investment on the economy. So you have already have what it takes to write your objective without error because your objective will now to be running out when you are writing your chapter 5. Because I've already labeled it in chapter 1, and the thing also give you the result in chapter 4, and also the 4 is also guiding your chapter 5. So your 1, 4, 5, there's no differences. You get it? So the major key about project writing is that objective and hypothesis. So your hypothesis is now when you have checked it with your data analysis, your interpretation, and all, you still find out that okay, yeah, your hypothesis is met. You are accepting, you're not rejecting. So that means you are also going to be having a what a conclusion in your chapter 5 that I haven't checked statistically investigate this. This is what I'm concluding on that. Impact of GDP on these is also so and so. So you check those things. Like you have to just make sure you are checking so that you know that okay, good. This is what I am doing. So it should. So once you have done this before you even write a project, you have already done like about 60% of your job without stress. This is the hardest part because this is what you are contributing to your data set you are bringing in is what you are majorly contributing to the world, the body of the academic's environment or the body of knowledge. It is what you are doing here. So once what you are doing in chapter 4 is contradicting what you have done in chapter 1, definitely there will be problem. That means some people have to have done chapter 1, 2, 3. When I get to 4, then I find out that there's a issue with their result is not complementing what they have written in chapter 1 and 2, or chapter 1 rather. They have to have to start adjusting it rather. Start adjusting to this, adjusting to this. So these are the things you must know. So once you have got the data, you just need to just go to you know, just go to your review, do your checking. You check it, you just have to just check everything and say, okay, let me see my results, check everything, look at it and say, okay, this is giving me what I want. So when you check it, you can see, you can imagine my W Watson is 0.9, is 0.8, you can imagine. So like this now, I'm already seeing some problem already ahead of time. That's, will this thing work like this? I check my Ramsey specification error. I check it. I find out it's here. I'm well specified, but I'm having some stability issue. I check my normality test. I can see that I certify my normality test. You can see that my normality test is okay. So I go again. I check my what's it called? Recursive to check the was if there's a structural break or not. I check it, I look at it, and say, okay, see, there's a structural break already. So I'll be looking at it. That's okay. I'm seeing some slight issues in my words, in my model. So these are the things you keep checking, you keep looking at for. You look at it. When you look at them, you think, okay, what's my serial correlation saying? You check it. You can see my serial correlation is significant, even based on what the Bayesian shows. There's likely going to be significance level. So you look at the heteroscedasticity as well. You find out that okay, using the Godfrey test is significant that there's a large variance in this model. So with this, I don't need to continue because I've already seen problems already. So I need to go and check what I'm to do right. You can see my exchange rate is having about 30, extreme high. My external debt is having 21. So I can see that there are problems. So from here, you will be able to adjust your what? Your variable. You can say, okay, so this is happening. Let me just see all this is happening. Let me log GDP, log import demand, log exchange rate, external debt, and continue because inflation is already in great. Exchange rate also can also be a. So this is where the work starts. To also have survived this section, your project writing is already extremely solved. So that is what you have to do before you start anything in your project. So thank you.